The forbidden serum. The human military base was silent in the night. Its walls were made of steel, guarded by machines and soldiers. Inside, in the deepest room, a small glass container glowed with blue light. That container held the forbidden serum, a liquid created for war. Humans whispered that one drop could change a soldier forever, but it was also dangerous, unstable, and deadly. The alien girl did not belong there. She had slipped through the fences like a shadow. Her name was Lyra, young, curious, and reckless. Her people were traitors, not warriors, but she always wanted to see what humans were hiding. Tonight her curiosity was stronger than her fear. Lyra moved through the dark corridors. Her big eyes reflected the red lights of the alarms. She heard voices of guards, heavy boots hitting the ground, but she was small and quick. She slid through the shadows until she reached the secret chamber. The door was half open. She stepped inside. The room smelled of chemicals, strange and sharp. In the middle, the glowing vial stood on a metal table. Blue mist swirled inside it like a living flame. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. "What is this?" she whispered. Her voice shook. She felt the air hum around her. The serum seemed to call her, as if it was alive. She should have left. She should have run back to her camp. But her hand reached out. One touch. The glass felt warm. Her heart raced. She looked around. No one was there. The alarms had not reached this place yet. She lifted the vial. The blue light shone across her face. She only wanted to see, to taste, to understand why humans guarded it like treasure. With a trembling hand, she opened the cap. A sharp hiss escaped. The scent was sweet, heavy, and strange. "One sip," she whispered to herself. Only one sip. The liquid touched her lips, cold and burning at the same time. It slid down her throat like fire. At first, nothing happened. She gasped, confused. But then the pain came. It started in her chest, a heartbeat too strong. Her vision blurred, her fingers shook. She dropped the vial and it shattered on the floor. Blue liquid spread like fire across the metal. Lyra fell to her knees. Her skin burned. Her veins glowed faintly beneath her skin. She clawed at the ground, choking. The pain was unbearable. She wanted to scream, but no sound came. Then suddenly her body exploded with energy. The lights above flickered and burst. Sparks rained down. Her scream finally broke free, echoing through the hall like thunder. Guards outside shouted, "She's inside! Lock the chamber!" Heavy boots rushed toward the door. Weapons clicked. But Lyra was already changing. Her eyes glowed bright white. Her hands shook with a strange power. The air around her bent like waves in water. She stood slowly, her breath heavy, her heart wild. She looked at her reflection in the broken glass on the floor. Her face looked the same, but her eyes were no longer her own. The serum had chosen her. When the guards entered, their weapons pointed at her chest. Lyra raised her hand by instinct. A blast of blue energy shot forward. The men flew back like dolls, smashing into the walls. The door twisted and melted. She gasped, What have I done?" The alarms screamed louder now. Red lights flashed across the base. Soldiers shouted in every direction. The human commanders realized the serum had been stolen. Or worse, consumed. Lyra stumbled forward, her body still burning. Her footsteps cracked the metal floor. She could feel every sound, every heartbeat in the building. Her senses were sharper, but her mind was drowning. She wanted to run, to hide. But the serum pushed her forward. More guards appeared. Their eyes filled with fear. "Stand down, don't move," they shouted. But Lyra could not stop. The power inside her wanted to break free. Her scream shook the corridor as another wave of energy burst out. The walls cracked, glass shattered. Sirens died in the shockwave. Smoke filled the hall. Lyra's body trembled. Sweat dripped down her skin. Her breath came fast. She looked at her hands, glowing faintly like fire. She whispered, "What is happening to me?" Outside, the commanders ordered, "Seal the base, don't let her escape." But already Lyra's new strength surged again. She leapt through the smoke and darkness, moving faster than her own fear. For one sip, just one sip, had changed her, forever. And chaos had only begun. The awakening Lyra ran through the smoke-filled corridor. Her feet barely touched the ground. Every step felt light, yet heavy with fire inside her veins. She could hear the clashing boots of soldiers behind her, but they sounded far away, almost like whispers. Her body was not her own anymore. Her heart beat like a drum, each thump shaking her chest with painful power. Her vision was sharp, too sharp. She could see the dust floating in the air, every spark of broken wires dancing around her like tiny stars. What is happening to me? She gasped. Her voice echoed strangely as if two voices spoke at once, her own, and something deeper. Her hands trembled, glowing faintly with blue light. The serum pulsed inside her, alive and restless. It was not only in her blood, it was in her bones, her mind, her soul. She reached the outer hallway. A line of human soldiers stood ready, weapons aimed. "Don't move!" One shouted, his voice cracked, fear behind his order. Lyra raised her hands, trying to show she meant no harm. "Please. I don't understand," she began. But the serum reacted. A sudden burst of energy jumped from her fingertips, blasting. The ceiling apart, stones and steel rained down. Soldiers dived for cover. Lyra gasped in terror. "No, I didn't mean to." The serum didn't care. It wanted to spread, to break, to burn. Her veins glowed brighter. Her body shook violently. One soldier, braver than the rest, ran forward with a shock baton. He swung at her side. The weapon struck. A surge of energy exploded outward, throwing him across the corridor like a broken doll. His scream echoed as he hit the wall and slid down. Unconscious, Lyra clutched her head, her eyes wide with horror. I can't stop it." The base trembled under her. Red lights flashed, sirens screamed, alarms carried through the desert night outside, calling reinforcements. She stumbled backward. The serum made her faster, stronger, but unstable. Her legs carried her without control. She smashed into walls, leaving dents in the steel. Her breaths came in ragged gasps. Outside the chamber, the human commander barked orders. "She drank it! Contain her alive if possible, but don't let her escape." The soldiers spread out, closing all exits. Drones swarmed from the ceiling, their red eyes glowing as they locked onto her heat signature. Lyra's ears caught every sound, the clicking of weapons, the whir of drones, even the quick heartbeats of men filled with fear. The serum gave her senses beyond normal limits. It was overwhelming, too much. She covered her ears, screaming, "Stop, stop." And then, another wave. Energy exploded from her body like a storm. The drones sparked and fell, their frames twisted. Soldiers were thrown across the hall, groaning in pain. Lyra dropped to her knees, panting, her glowing eyes dimmed for a moment. She felt weak and heavy, as if the serum was draining her life away with every burst. For a moment, silence filled the ruined hall. Smoke curled from broken walls. Sparks crackled from dead machines. She looked at her trembling hands again, whispering, "This power, it's killing me." But there was no time to think. More soldiers stormed from the side corridors, armored and ready. They carried heavy rifles glowing with plasma energy. "Target locked," one shouted. Blue bolts shot toward her. She moved without thought, her body blurred, faster than she had ever moved before. The shots missed, burning holes into the steel behind her. She dashed forward, smashing into the squad like a hurricane. Armor cracked, rifles shattered. Soldiers screamed as they flew into the air. When the fight ended, Lyra stood alone in the smoke, her chest heaving, her body shaking. She looked at the destruction around, her dozens of humans groaning on the ground, walls broken, machines crushed. "I didn't want this," she whispered. Her eyes filled with tears that glowed faintly under the serum's light. The energy inside her pulsed again, but this time, softer, whispering to her mind, showing her flashes of strange visions, galaxies burning, armies kneeling, blood-soaking entire worlds. She saw herself at the center, a figure of light and terror. No, that's not me," she cried, pressing her hands to her head. But the serum was inside her now, and it was only the beginning. Lyra stumbled toward the exit, her steps shaky, yet every movement left cracks on the ground. The doors ahead sealed, shut with heavy steel. She touched them, and the metal groaned. Then with a scream she pushed, and the massive gates bent open like paper. The night air hit her face, cool and sharp. Stars shone above the desert. She staggered outside, gasping for breath. Behind her, the base roared with alarms. Helicopters lifted into the sky. Tanks rolled out from underground hangars. Searchlights swept the sand, all aiming at her glowing figure. Lyra's heart pounded. She felt hunted, trapped between the power burning inside her and the humans who wanted her as an enemy. She whispered into the night, "What have I become?" Dito. Wind carried no answer, only the distant echo of engines and marching boots. And so began her awakening. Not as an alien girl anymore, but as something far more dangerous. The pursuit. The desert night stretched endlessly. Cold winds carried sand across the ground. The stars above seemed sharp and endless. Lyra stumbled forward, her glowing hands lighting the dark like blue fire. Her breaths came heavy, her body trembling from the energy tearing inside her veins. Behind her, the human base was alive with noise. Sirens howled. Searchlights cut across the desert. Helicopters hovered, their blades roaring. Tanks rumbled across the sand like thunder. The humans were not going to let her escape. Lyra's ears caught every sound. Her new senses were too sharp. She could hear the soldiers shouting orders miles away. She could even hear their heartbeats racing in fear. Her body shook as she pressed her hands over her ears, but it did not help. The serum made her hear everything. She whispered, "Stop, please stop." But the night did not listen. Suddenly, bright light swept over her. A spotlight pinned her in the desert sand. Helicopters circled overhead. Soldiers' voices echoed through speakers. "Stop where you are. Surrender." Lyra's glowing eyes turned upward. Her heart raced. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want to hurt anyone. But the serum inside her pulsed like a second heart, forcing power through her body. Bullets rained down, glowing tracer rounds cutting through the night. Lyra gasped. She moved without thinking. Her body blurred across the sand faster than any eye could follow. The bullets missed, exploding into dust behind her. She ran, her feet carving deep cracks into the ground. Helicopters followed. Tanks turned their guns. Soldiers shouted as they fired energy bolts across the dunes. The desert lit up like a battlefield. Lyra leapt, her body soaring high. A shockwave exploded where she had stood, throwing sand into the air like a storm. She landed. On a dune, the force shaking the earth, she looked at her glowing hands, terrified. "What am I? What have I done?" she cried. But there was no time to wonder. The chase tightened. Dozens of drones swarmed from the sky, their red eyes blinking. They fired beams of heat, cutting across the sand. Lyra shielded herself with her arms. Energy burst from her body like a wave. The drones melted and crashed, fire raining down. Her scream echoed, half fear, half rage. The serum pushed harder, bending her will. The humans below hesitated. Soldiers whispered to each other. Some looked at her not as an enemy but as a monster, a weapon they could not control. The commander's voice cut through the radios. "Do not stop. She cannot leave the desert. Pursue her with everything we have." Lyra staggered away. Her breaths were ragged. Every step felt stronger but also heavier. The serum gave her power but drained her spirit. Her vision blurred. She saw strange shapes flicker before her eyes, burning cities, broken planets, oceans of fire. She shook her head, refusing to believe it. Far across the dunes, lights of another human outpost blinked. Soldiers poured out. Their rifles glowed as they aimed. Lyra was trapped between the two groups. She turned, looking at the helicopters closing in, the tanks rolling forward, the drones circling like vultures. Her chest rose and fell quickly. The serum inside her boiled like a storm. "No," she whispered. "I will not let you take me." With a cry, she raised her arms. Energy surged from her body. Blue light tore across the desert like lightning. Sand exploded upward. Helicopters spun out of control. Tanks flipped. Soldiers were thrown off their feet. The desert went silent for a moment. Only the crackle of burning machines remained. Lyra fell to her knees, her strength fading. Her hands shook as the glow dimmed. Tears slid down her face, glowing faintly. "I didn't want this," she whispered. "I just wanted to see." But the humans would not stop. Already, more vehicles approached from the horizon. Their lights glowed like fireflies in the distance. The hunt was endless. Lyra forced herself to stand, her legs weak but still moving. She turned away from the battlefield and ran deeper into the desert. The serum guided her steps, pulling her further and further from the human bases, yet she knew she could not run forever. Everywhere she went, the humans would follow. They would never stop until she was captured or destroyed. And deep inside, the serum whispered, not with words but with hunger. It wanted more. It wanted war. Lyra pressed her glowing hand against her chest. Her heart thumped painfully. She closed her eyes, whispering into the night. Someone. Anyone. Please help me. But the desert was empty. The only answer was the howl of the wind and the steady roar of engines chasing her through the endless dark. The pursuit had only begun. The encounter with the human soldier. The desert stretched into endless silence after the battle. The smoke of burning machines rose into the night sky. Lyra stumbled across the sand, her body weak but still glowing faintly. Each step left a deep mark on the ground. Her breath came heavy, her chest burning with the strange fire of the serum. For hours she walked alone. The helicopters no longer circled above. The tanks and drones had been destroyed or left behind. But she knew the humans would not give up. They would regroup. They would return. Her eyes glowed softly in the dark. She held her arms tight against her chest, afraid of her own power. I didn't want this, she whispered again. The night answered only with wind. Then she froze. Her sharp hearing caught something. A soft crunch of boots on sand, slow and steady. Someone was following her, not a squad, not an army, just one person. Lyra turned sharply. Her glowing eyes locked onto a figure in the distance. A human soldier, tall, wearing desert armor marked with dust and scars. He held no weapon in his hands, though a rifle hung on his back. His helmet was off and his tired eyes watched her with caution. Not hate. Stay back, Lyra shouted. Her voice cracked. The serum pulsed inside her veins, threatening to explode. Again she raised her hand, blue sparks dancing in her palm. The soldier stopped. He lifted his hand slowly, showing he carried no threat. His voice was calm, almost gentle. I don't want to fight. Lyra blinked, confused. Every soldier before had attacked her without hesitation, but this one did not. Why are you here then? She demanded. To find you, he said simply. His voice carried honesty. The others see a weapon. I see someone who's scared. Her heart tightened. Her hand trembled with energy. You don't understand. I can't control it, she whispered. Her eyes watered, glowing tears sliding down her cheeks. I hurt people. I destroy everything near me. The soldier's gaze softened. I know what the serum does, he said. It was not made for aliens, not even for most humans. It's chaos in liquid form, but you're still you, not just the serum. Lyra shook her head. No, it's inside me. It's changing me. I see things. Fire, death, whole worlds burning. I don't want it. I didn't ask for this. Her voice cracked as she stepped back. The soldier took one step closer. Slowly, carefully. Listen to me, he said. You're not alone in this. If you let them take you, they'll use you. They'll turn you into the weapon they always wanted, but if you fight them alone, you'll burn yourself out. You need someone to stand with you. Lyra stared at him. Her body shook. The serum inside her raged, pushing her to attack. But something about his voice calmed her. He was not shouting orders, not calling her a monster. He was just human. What's your name? She asked quietly. Darren, he replied. His voice was steady. And yours? Lyra, she whispered. Her hands lowered slightly. The sparks faded. Before either could speak again, a sharp noise split the night. Engines, fast and closing. More humans were coming. Lights spread across the horizon. Soldiers and armored trucks roared toward them. The pursuit had begun again. Darren glanced back at the approaching forces, then looked at her. They won't stop. They'll keep hunting until you're caught or dead. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, fear mixing with anger. I don't want to hurt them, but they keep Coming, she said. Darren nodded. Then don't face them alone. He reached behind him, pulling his rifle, but instead of aiming at her, he turned toward the approaching soldiers. His stance was firm, his eyes unshaken. If you can't control the serum, then I'll help you carry it. We fight together. Lyra gasped, shocked by his words. Why? You don't even know me. I'm not human. He gave a faint smile. Doesn't matter. I know fear when I see it, and I know courage when I see it too. His eyes met hers, steady and calm. Right now, you need someone who believes in you. Lyra's chest tightened. For the first time since drinking the serum, she felt a spark of hope, not just fear. The rumble of trucks grew louder. Soldiers shouted orders through megaphones. Searchlights cut across the desert, locking onto them both. Darren raised his rifle. Lyra, listen to me. The serum doesn't define you. You do. Lyra clenched her fists. Her body glowed brighter. The serum raged within her. But this time, she did not feel completely lost. Someone stood beside her. Someone who believed. The desert wind whipped across them as the human army closed in. Dozens of rifles pointed their way. Engines roared. Lyra and Darren stood side by side. She looked at him, her glowing eyes trembling with fear and strength. Then we fight together, she whispered. Darren nodded once, steady and unshaken. The soldiers shouted their final warning. The desert night held its breath, and then the storm began. The enemy arrives. The desert shook with the sound of engines. Dust rose like a storm as armored trucks sped across the dunes. Lights glared, rifles pointed forward, soldiers shouted orders. Their mission was clear. Capture or kill the alien. Girl. Lyra stood trembling, the blue glow in her eyes reflecting off the sand. The serum inside her pulsed like a living beast, hungry for release. Beside her, Darren held his rifle steady, his stance calm. His presence was the only thing stopping her from losing control completely. They're here for me, Lyra whispered. Her voice cracked with fear. Darren's eyes stayed on the horizon. They're here for what's inside you, not for who you are, he said. But we won't let them take you. Lyra swallowed hard. Her hands trembled with power. If I fight, I'll destroy them. I don't want more death. Darren glanced at her. Then fight to protect, not to destroy. The serum doesn't choose. You choose. Before Lyra could answer, the trucks halted. Dust clouded the air. Dozens of soldiers poured out, armored head to toe. Plasma rifles glowed in their hands. Above, helicopters circled. Drones swarmed like a cloud of steel insects. And then, something worse. The ground trembled beneath Lyra's feet. From the horizon, alien ships appeared, their shadows sliding. Across the stars, sleek and black, their engines roared like thunder. Lyra's eyes widened. No, not them. Darren's jaw tightened. Who are they? They are my people's enemies, Lyra whispered. Her voice shook. They must have heard the serum was awakened. And now they've come for me too. The alien ships descended, their lights cutting across the desert. Soldiers poured out, their tall figures armored in obsidian plates carrying weapons that glowed with red energy. Their eyes fixed on Lyra like hunters spotting prey. One of them shouted in a language filled with harsh tones. His voice echoed across the dunes. The weapon belongs to us. Hand her over or be buried in the sand. Darren cursed under his breath. So it's not just the humans after you. Lyra's chest heaved. Fear and guilt crushed her. This is my fault. I've brought them all here. Darren shook his head firmly. No, this is on them, not you. He lifted his rifle. Stay close to me. The desert was silent for one brief moment. Humans on one side, aliens on the other. Lyra and Darren caught in the middle. The air crackled with tension. Then, chaos erupted. The human commander raised his hand, shouting, "Open fire!" Plasma rifles lit the night, streaks of blue and red energy cutting across the sand. The alien soldiers roared back, their weapons firing streams of crimson light. The desert exploded with battle. Helicopters rained missiles. Alien ships answered. With heavy cannons, the night turned into fire. Lyra clutched her head. The sounds, the screams, the energy. It all burned inside her mind. Her senses could hear every dying soldier, every clash of steel, every heartbeat pounding in terror. "No, no, make it stop," she cried. Darren fired his rifle, covering her as soldiers charged their way. He shouted above the noise, "Lyra, listen to me. You can't hide from it. Use it, not for them, not for destruction. Use it to protect us." Lyra's glowing eyes snapped open. Her chest heaved. The serum surged inside her. She raised her hands, and with a scream, a wave of energy burst outward. Blue light exploded across the battlefield, throwing humans and aliens alike to the ground. Drones shattered. Ships tilted off balance, trucks flipped. Soldiers shielded their faces against the storm. The desert became silent again for a heartbeat. All eyes turning to the glowing figure standing in the center. Her body surrounded by light. Her hair flowing like it was caught in invisible wind. "That's her," one alien soldier hissed, his voice filled with greed. "The weapon of destiny." Lyra shook her head. "I am not a weapon." Her voice carried across the dunes like thunder. The serum burned hotter. Her veins glowed brighter. She looked at Darren, her voice trembling. "I don't know how long I can hold this back." Darren lowered his rifle for a moment, looking straight at her. "Then don't hold it back. Guide it. Let it follow your heart, not their orders." The alien soldiers roared, charging. The humans followed, their commanders desperate to control the chaos. Lyra's scream split the night. Her body shone like a star. She dashed forward, faster than lightning. Energy blasted from her fists, cracking weapons, shattering armor. Helicopters spiraled down in flames. Alien ships staggered under her assault. But with every burst, her body weakened. Pain ripped through her chest, her legs trembled, her hands shook violently. She felt as if her soul was burning away with each strike. Still, she fought, side by side with Darren, his rifle sharp. Her energy. Wild, together they cut through the waves of enemies. The desert burned, the sky lit with fire. And in the center of it all stood an alien girl who never wanted war, and a human soldier who refused to leave her alone. But Lyra knew the truth. Deep inside, the serum was not done. The real storm was yet to come. The breaking point. The desert battlefield was a graveyard of fire. Smoke rose from broken machines. Human soldiers and alien warriors lay scattered across the sand. Some groaned in pain, others silent forever. The night sky glowed with burning wreckage falling like stars. Lyra stood at the center, her body trembling, her eyes blazed with white-blue light. Her veins burned like fire beneath her skin. Each breath felt like a hammer against her ribs. Beside her, Darren reloaded his rifle with shaking hands. His armor was cracked, his face streaked with sweat and dust. He glanced at her with worry. "Lyra, you're fading." She shook her head, clutching her chest. "The serum. It's too much. It doesn't want me to stop. It wants me to burn everything." Her vision blurred, strange images flashing before her eyes. She saw cities turn to ash, oceans boiling, planets split open, and always, herself standing in the center of destruction. Her scream tearing galaxies apart, Lyra gasped and fell to her knees. The power inside her surged wildly. Waves of blue energy cracked the sand around her. The ground glowed faintly where she touched it. Darren knelt beside her, grabbing her shoulders. "Listen to me, Lyra. You're stronger than it. You're not just the serum." Her glowing eyes locked on him, tears streaming down her face. I can't hold it much longer. Every second it grows louder, it wants control. If I let go, I'll destroy everything, even you." The night echoed with shouts as survivors regrouped. Human commanders barked orders. Alien generals rallied their troops. Both sides were broken but not defeated, and both wanted her. From the distance, a voice thundered. Through alien speakers deep and commanding, "The weapon belongs to us. She will burn this galaxy for our empire," a human commander shouted in reply. "She belongs to Earth now. Stand down or be annihilated." Lyra screamed, the voices drilling into her skull. Her body convulsed. Lightning-like veins of light cracked across her skin. Her hair lifted as, if caught in a storm, the serum inside her roared like a beast. Darren held her tighter, refusing to let go. "Lyra, listen to me. Don't let them decide what you are. You choose." Can't, she whispered. Her voice trembled. The blue glow brightened until her body shone like a star. The sand beneath her melted into glass. Soldiers shielded their faces. Machines overloaded and exploded. The desert wind howled as her power spiraled out of control. Darren grit his teeth. Then let me share the burden. Without fear, he wrapped his arms around her glowing body. The heat seared his armor, pain shot through him, but he didn't let go. You are not alone. Do you hear me? Not alone. Lyra's eyes widened, her scream caught in her throat. For a heartbeat, the raging storm inside her flickered. The serum pushed, but his words pressed deeper. Not alone. Her breath shuddered. Why do you care? She whispered. Her voice small, broken. I'm not even human. Darren's voice was raw but firm. Because you're alive. Because you deserve more than to be used. Because no one, human or alien, should carry this alone. The storm dimmed, only slightly, but enough for her to breathe again. Before either could speak further, alien cannons roared. Massive blasts cut across the dunes. Human tanks answered. Missiles streaked the sky. The battle surged again, louder than before. Lyra struggled to stand, her body shaking violently. She pushed Darren back. Stay away. It's coming again. He refused, gripping his rifle. If it comes, we face it together. Her glowing eyes locked on him. For the first time, a flicker of trust, of hope, shone through her fear. The alien commander raised his hand. His army charging forward. Take the weapon! Kill the human! The human commander barked. Protect her at all costs! Fire at will! The desert exploded with fire once more. Bullets, plasma, and energy tore through the air. Soldiers screamed. Machines clashed. In the middle of it all, Lyra stood, her body shaking as the serum demanded release. She clenched her fists, whispering to herself, I am not your weapon, I am not your slave. The serum burned hotter. Her veins glowed like rivers of lightning. Her scream split the battlefield as she unleashed another wave. The blast tore through soldiers and machines alike, friend and foe. A circle of destruction spread miles wide. When the dust settled, Lyra collapsed, her body trembling, her breath shallow. The sand around her blackened and smoking. Darren rushed to her side, lifting her gently. Stay with me, Lyra. Don't give in. Her eyes half closed, glowing faintly. Her voice was weak. I can't fight it much longer. If I break, the galaxy breaks with me. Darren clenched his jaw, looking out at the battlefield still raging. Then we don't let you break. Not tonight. Not ever. Lyra closed her eyes, her body still glowing softly, caught between life and chaos. And above, the alien ships gathered in formation. The humans regrouped with fresh reinforcements. Both sides prepared for the final push. The breaking point had come. Fate in chaos, the battlefield was torn apart. Smoke and fire covered the desert like a black storm. Human machines burned. Alien ships groaned above. The ground was cracked and glowing from Lyra's last explosion. The air itself felt heavy. Poisoned by war, Lyra lay in the center of it all, her body shaking. Her veins glowed faintly, her breath shallow. She was alive, but only barely. The serum still boiled inside her, a storm begging to escape again. Darren knelt at her side, his hands gripping her shoulders. Stay with me, Lyra, don't let it win, he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes showed fear. He knew she was close to breaking. Around them, the two armies regrouped. Human commanders shouted through radios. Alien generals barked orders. Both sides prepared for one last assault. Neither cared about Lyra as a person, only as a weapon. Target her again, the human commander ordered. We can't let the aliens take her alive. She is ours, the alien general roared. The weapon will burn the galaxy in our name. Lyra groaned, clutching her chest. Her glowing eyes flickered between Darren and the armies. They don't see me, she whispered weakly. Only power, only death. Darren shook his head firmly. I see you, Lyra. Not a weapon, not chaos, just you. Her lips trembled. A tear rolled down her glowing cheek. But I can't hold it anymore. If I unleash again, there will be nothing left. Above, alien ships turned their cannons. Humans aimed tanks and missiles. The night sky filled with the red and blue glow of charging weapons. The desert became a stage for destruction. Darren gritted his teeth, pulling Lyra close. Then you choose what happens, not them. Lyra's heart pounded painfully. The serum, inside her, screamed. It showed her visions, burning cities, galaxies torn apart. Darren dead in her arms, the universe drowned in fire. She shook, tears streaming down her face. I don't want this fate. And then, silence filled her mind, a single thought rising above the storm. Fate is mine to choose. Lyra stood slowly, her legs trembling. Her body glowed brighter, her hair lifted as if caught in unseen wind. She raised her hands, blue light burning from her palms. The humans and aliens both froze, watching her rise like a living star. Fear spread through their armies. Darren stepped back, shielding his eyes. Lyra, what are you doing? Her voice was soft, broken but steady. Ending this. The serum pulsed, tearing through her body. She screamed, but this time it was not fear. It was defiance. Energy surged outward in a blinding wave, not wild and destructive, but sharp. Controlled. The desert lit up as a dome of light spread. The soldiers staggered, their weapons shattered, tanks cracked, alien cannons burst. The very sand turned to glass under her feet, but instead of killing, the wave pushed, throwing the armies back, disarming them, scattering their machines. The battlefield fell silent in shock. Lyra's body shook violently, her skin cracked with glowing lines. The serum demanded more, threatening to consume her completely. Darren rushed forward, shouting, "Stop! You'll burn yourself out!" Lyra turned to him, her glowing eyes soft, with sorrow. I can't stop, Darren, not without a price. Her voice trembled. The serum doesn't want balance, it only wants chaos. If I stay alive, it will keep growing, it will keep burning. Darren's heart sank. No. There has to be another way. Lyra smiled weakly, tears glowing on her cheeks. There isn't, but I can choose how it ends. The armies began to rise again, struggling, to regroup. Their leaders shouted orders, desperate to recover. Lyra looked toward the soldiers, then back to Darren. Tell them I wasn't their weapon. Tell them I chose my fate. Before he could stop her, Lyra raised her arms, high. Her entire body blazed with light. Her voice rang across the battlefield like thunder. I am not your weapon. I am not your chaos. I am Lyra. The serum exploded outward in a storm of blue fire. The desert vanished under the light. The sky lit up like day. Armies were thrown miles away. Machines shattered into dust. Alien ships spun out of control. Human helicopters crashed like broken. Birds at the center, Lyra's figure shone brighter and brighter. Her scream filled the air, not of pain but of freedom. Then silence. The light faded. The battlefield was quiet. Smoke drifted across endless dunes of glass. The armies were scattered, broken, unable to fight anymore. Darren staggered to his feet, coughing from the dust. Lyra, he shouted. His voice cracked with desperation, but there was no answer. The place where she had stood was empty. Only faint, glowing sand remained. Her body was gone. He fell to his knees, his rifle slipping from his hand, his chest heavy with grief. No, he whispered. His eyes burned with tears. She chose her fate. The soldiers who survived, human and alien, stared in silence. None dared to move. The weapon they all wanted was gone, burned away with her sacrifice. Darren clenched his fists, his voice low but strong. She wasn't a weapon. She was more human than all of you. The wind howled through the silent desert, carrying her name like a ghost. Lyra was gone, but her choice remained. Her fate had not been written by humans or aliens, but by her own hands. And for the first time in a long war, both armies tasted silence. The galaxy would never forget the alien girl who took one sip of human serum and turned her fate into chaos, only to break free by choosing her own ending.